She got me a book. I'm a big James Bond fan. I like James Bond stuff, action movie stuff. But she got me this book they were all these destinations from Bond films.
Chris Stapleton has had an impressive journey from Kentucky roots to stardom, overcoming many challenges to conquer the hearts of fans. So how did he do it? But how has music changed Stapleton's life today? The following revelations may surprise you. Follow along. His story is one like no other, so let's go on the journey of Chris Stapleton's evolution from Kentucky roots to international stardom. Chris Stapleton was born on April 15, 1978, in Lexington, Kentucky, into a family with a rural background. His mother, Carol, was a teacher, while his father, Herbert, worked in education and agriculture. They raised Chris and his brother in a warm environment where music was appreciated and frequently heard in the home. From a young age, Stapleton was exposed to many different genres of music. He was influenced by traditional country music, rock and blues, thanks to the diversity of his family's musical tastes. His grandparents, who lived in the countryside, regularly listened to bluegrass and country music, which shaped his musical style from a very early age. When Chris Stapleton was just 10 years old, the guitar he received opened a new door to his passion for music. He began to learn to play the guitar through his favorite songs and also composed his first songs, which were often simple melodies reflecting the emotions and experiences of everyday life. During this period, Stapleton often participated in small performances at school, community festivals, and local music events. Although he did not have a famous name, these performances were important to his development. He often performed at coffeehouses, churches, and other small events in the Lexington, Kentucky area, where he could show off his abilities to an audience. The songs he composed at that time were often folk-influenced, reflecting the sincere and simple emotions of a boy discovering the world of music. After graduating from high school, Chris Stapleton attended Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, where he pursued his musical dreams more seriously. There, Stapleton quickly became involved in the Nashville music community, meeting and collaborating with talented songwriters such as Mike Henderson and Travis Tritt. During his early years in Nashville, Stapleton wrote many songs for other artists and quickly established a reputation in the music industry. One of the most notable songs he wrote for George Strait was "Love's Gonna Make It All Right," a huge hit that helped establish his songwriting abilities. He also wrote "Your Man" for Josh Turner, a very successful song that topped the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart and received numerous awards. Stapleton also wrote for Tim McGraw, and for Adele, "If It Hadn't Been for Love," which was later performed by the Steel Drivers, where Stapleton was the lead singer. The song won the group numerous awards, including a Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album. After graduating from high school, Chris Stapleton attended Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, where he pursued his musical dreams more seriously. Here, one of Stapleton's earliest memories was performing at local music festivals. He often played guitar and sang at small bars in Nashville, where he experienced the thrill and joy of being on stage. During his early years, Stapleton met Mike Henderson, a famous musician and music producer. The pair collaborated on many projects and became important parts of each other's musical development. Henderson helped Stapleton solidify his musical style, and they wrote many songs together. It was also here that Stapleton had the opportunity to meet and get to know many famous musicians, such as Kenny Chesney and Alan Jackson. His conversations with them inspired him and opened the door to future collaborations. Stapleton wrote many songs for other artists and quickly established a reputation in the music industry. One of his most notable songs was "Love's Gonna Make It All Right," a hit for George Strait that established his songwriting abilities. He also wrote "Your Man" for Josh Turner, a hit that topped the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart and earned him several awards. In addition, Stapleton wrote for Tim McGraw on "Tim McGraw" and for Adele on "If It Hadn't Been for Love," which was later performed by the Steel Drivers, where Stapleton was the lead singer. The song won the group several awards, including a Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album. Chris Stapleton's career continued to flourish after his early years in Nashville. One of his first breakthroughs was when he joined the Steel Drivers in 2005, where Stapleton quickly made an impression with his powerful vocals and songwriting abilities. The group's debut album, Steel Drivers, 2005, received critical acclaim and helped to make Stapleton a household name in the bluegrass community. The album sold approximately 100,000 copies nationwide, according to Billboard, and won the Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album in 2009, a testament to the album's quality and recognition in the music industry. Their second album, Reckless, 2007, was also successful, earning them a Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album. Reckless sold around 70,000 copies, proving the appeal of their music among the genre's fans. In 2015, Stapleton released his debut solo album, Traveler. The album immediately attracted the attention of both critics and audiences, with standout songs such as Tennessee Whiskey and Fire Away. Traveler not only won many awards, including the Grammy Award for Album of the Year, but also helped Stapleton affirm his position as an independent star in the country music scene. In 2015, Chris Stapleton released his debut solo album, Traveler, marking an important turning point in his music career. The album quickly attracted attention not only from critics but also from fans, thanks to Stapleton's warm voice and unique musical style. Traveler includes many outstanding songs, including two big hits, Tennessee Whiskey and Fire Away. Tennessee Whiskey, an emotional ballad, became one of Stapleton's signature songs and helped him gain a large number of new fans. The album was not only a commercial success, but also received recognition through prestigious awards. Traveler won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year in 2016, along with other awards such as the Grammy Award for Best Male Country Artist and the Grammy Award for Best Country Song for Tennessee Whiskey. The album sold over 3 million copies in the United States and reached #1 on the Billboard 200 and Billboard Top Country Albums, catapulting Stapleton to new heights in the music industry. Chris Stapleton had a breakout year in 2016, winning 2 prestigious awards at the Academy of Country Music, ACM Country Music Awards. He received Album of the Year for his album Traveler and Best New Artist, a huge recognition for his efforts and success in the country music industry. The most memorable moment of the awards ceremony was when Stapleton performed Tennessee Whiskey live. With his soulful voice and emotional performance, he delivered a powerful and captivating performance that brought the audience to their feet and cheered. After the huge success of his album Traveler, Chris Stapleton continued his musical journey with the release of 2 new albums, From A Room Volume 1 in 2017 and From A Room Volume 2 in 2018. Both albums were well received by critics and fans, helping Stapleton solidify his position in the country music industry. From A Room Volume 1 not only garnered attention, but also won a Grammy Award for Best Country Song for the song Broken Halos. This is an emotional song that clearly shows Stapleton's songwriting and vocal abilities. Similarly, his second album, From a Room Volume 2, also received much praise, including the song Millionaire, which became one of his biggest hits. One of the most memorable moments in Chris Stapleton's career was when he was invited to perform the national anthem at Super Bowl LV in 2021. This performance not only attracted the attention of the audience, but also received countless compliments from both experts and fans. Stapleton's powerful and emotional voice brought the audience a profound experience, leaving many people feeling emotional. Many music experts praised his version as one of the best versions ever performed, showing his influence and talent in the music industry. In 2022, Chris Stapleton returned with a new album called Starting Over. This album marked his return after a period of hiatus and continued to show his unique musical style, combining country, rock, and soul. With songs like Cold, the album quickly attracted the attention of fans and critics. Starting Over not only pleased fans, but also demonstrated his maturity and musical growth. However, to achieve those successes, it is not without difficulties. What did he face, and how did he overcome it? Let's follow. Chris Stapleton has had his fair share of struggles and challenges in his career. One of the biggest challenges he faced was starting from scratch. Despite his successful career as a songwriter, breaking into the solo artist scene was not easy. After years of writing for other artists, Stapleton had to prove himself as an independent artist in a competitive music industry. However, before releasing his album Traveler, Chris Stapleton went through financial and emotional struggles. After leaving Steel Drivers in 2010, Stapleton had to find a way to make a living without a steady source of income. In an interview, he talked about living off small amounts of money from performances and songwriting, which led to him struggling financially. He has said that there were times when he couldn't afford to pay his rent and that life was difficult for him during those years. In addition, Stapleton has been open about feeling depressed and doubting his abilities when he didn't receive recognition for his work. In an interview with Rolling Stone, he mentioned that sometimes you have to ask yourself, am I on the right track? The lack of success at that time caused him to feel a lot of pressure, affecting his psychology. On the other hand, during this time, Stapleton also experienced difficulties in his relationships. He has talked about the impact of the artist's life on his relationships, especially during the period when he didn't have recognition and success. This created tension in his relationship with his wife, Morgane, and other social relationships. Furthermore, Stapleton shared that during this difficult period, he wrote many songs without knowing if they would ever be released. He spent many hours in the studio without any guarantee that his products would be recognized, which made him feel insecure and lonely. In 2017, Chris Stapleton faced a serious health issue related to his lungs, which affected his performance schedule. In September 2017, Stapleton was diagnosed with pneumonia. This disease not only caused symptoms such as dry cough and shortness of breath, but also reduced his ability to perform. Pneumonia is an inflammation of the lungs, and in Stapleton's case, it made him feel tired and had difficulty maintaining good health to perform. Due to his unstable health condition, Stapleton had to cancel several shows on his tour. One of the notable shows he had to cancel was at the Life is Beautiful festival in Las Vegas, where his absence left fans disappointed. Stapleton shared that recovery was not easy. He needed time to heal and fully recover. During this time, he had to temporarily stop performing and focus on his treatment. He said that his health was always his top priority and that rest and recovery were essential to ensure that he could return with strong performances in the future. This health issue also affected his mental health. In many interviews, Stapleton shared his feelings of anxiety and pressure when he could not perform in front of his fans. He faced a feeling of disappointment when he could not carry out the plans he had made in advance. Furthermore, when Chris Stapleton reached the pinnacle of his career with the release of the album Traveler, he was subjected to a significant amount of pressure as a result of the amount of recognition he had attained. Stapleton believed that he needed to develop his next musical items that were not only as good as his prior accomplishments, but also excelled. This realization came about as a result of the unprecedented success that Traveler achieved. This resulted in a significant amount of psychological strain, as he desired to demonstrate that he was not only a one-time celebrity, but rather that he was capable of sustaining and developing a music career over an extended period. A great number of Stapleton's followers were enthusiastic about his music and anticipated that he would continue to produce songs of a high caliber. After hearing songs such as Tennessee Whiskey and Fire Away, fans anticipated that he would continue to produce songs similar to this one in the years to come. On the other hand, this strain has turned into a psychological weight, and it is driving him to worry about whether or not he is capable of successfully meeting those lofty expectations. Both fans and critics put a lot of pressure on him, and critics also have very high expectations for him. His distinctive musical style, which incorporates elements of rock, blues, and country music, is something that critics anticipate he will not only keep, but also grow. This might give him the impression that he is required to continually innovate and be original in his music, which is not always easy for him to do. Stapleton has revealed that in order to deal with the strain that he is under, he makes an effort to strike a balance between the process of making music and the preservation of his own unique style. When it comes to music, he frequently prioritizes pursuing what he is passionate about and what he truly loves rather than pursuing economic success. Because of this, he can maintain his artistic integrity without being too influenced by the expectations of others. Last but not least, Chris Stapleton faces a significant obstacle at the intersection of his professional and personal life. It has been challenging for him to preserve his relationship with his family, particularly with his wife Morgane and their 3 young children, because he is a well-known artist who frequently goes on tour and plays with his band. He disclosed that there are instances in which he is compelled to miss significant occasions in the lives of his children, which causes him to experience feelings of guilt and annoyance. He can create distance in the relationship by spending extended amounts of time away from home, which will require him to make additional effort to keep his connection with his family. Even though he is a parent, Stapleton is still forced to confront the fact that his music profession may consume a significant amount of his time. To be able to take care of their young children, he and Morgane frequently have to rearrange their schedules. This is done to ensure that their children are not only nourished, but also have opportunities to form positive memories with their parents. Because of this, they are sometimes required to make challenging choices, such as having to decide whether to go on tour and when to stay at home. The good news is that he was able to acquire the skills necessary to effectively manage his time, and his wife Morgane is also a musician and a reliable partner in Stapleton's professional endeavors. When it comes to this woman, there are a lot of intriguing things to talk about. What am I talking about? Follow and investigate, shall we? Especially with his wife Morgane Stapleton and their 3 children, Chris Stapleton's personal life is very close and full of affection. This is especially visible in their relationship. In 2007, Chris Stapleton began his marriage to Morgane. Not only is Morgane his wife, but she is also a brilliant musician who frequently encourages and joins him in his endeavors to pursue a music career. At the concert of a mutual acquaintance in 2003, Chris Stapleton and Morgane had their first encounter. While Chris was working with the bluegrass band Steel Drivers at the time, Morgane was a young singer and songwriter who was pursuing a career in the music industry. Before beginning a romantic relationship, Chris and Morgane were acquaintances after they first met. They had a lot of musical interests in common, and the fact that they were so passionate about music helped them get closer. In 2007, Chris and Morgane tied the knot after dating for a considerable amount of time. The pair chose to keep their personal lives private until they decided to make their relationship public. Their wedding was a relatively modest occasion. Chris has credited Morgane with a significant contribution to his career, and the two of them frequently work together on musical projects. Chris is not only married to Morgane, but she is also his musical collaborator and creative partner. Chris is frequently seen performing beside her on stage and in musical shows. Their affection and support for one another are constantly apparent, which is one of the reasons why their partnership is considered to be among the most admirable couples in the country's music industry. Following the completion of their marriage, Chris and Morgane became parents to 3 children. Despite Chris's hectic work schedule, they place a high priority on family and make it a point to spend time together frequently. Even though he is famous and successful, Chris Stapleton has a life that is rather uncomplicated. With his family, he frequently engages in activities such as fishing, gardening, or simply unwinding. He takes pleasure in spending time at home. It is because of this that he is able to keep his life in balance and escape the demands that come with celebrity. Chris Stapleton is interested in a wide variety of activities, including charitable work and participation in the community, in addition to his profession as a musician. Chris and his wife, Morgane Stapleton, have formed a charitable foundation in their name to provide financial assistance to activities that are carried out within the community. The mission of the foundation is to provide assistance to individuals who are in need, particularly children and families who are struggling financially. To improve the lives of less fortunate individuals, they provide funding for a variety of initiatives that focus on education, food, and medical treatment. In parallel, Stapleton regularly participates in charity programs related to children. He has partnered with organizations such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which focuses on the treatment and research of childhood diseases. He regularly participates in fundraising events to support the hospital, helping to raise awareness and funds for treatment programs. Chris Stapleton also organizes many charity concerts to raise money for non-profit organizations. One of his notable events was a concert for Kentucky in 2021, where he raised millions of dollars for disaster relief and charities in the area. Additionally, Chris has been a part of a large number of charitable events that were organized by other creative professionals. He is frequently seen performing at concerts, festivals, and other events with the purpose of bringing attention to social concerns such as poverty, the conservation of the environment, and healthcare access. Because of his presence, Charity projects consistently receive a great deal of attention and financial support. On the other side, Stapleton frequently uses social media to encourage his supporters to take part in actions that benefit charitable organizations. In order to encourage others to give, participate, and volunteer for the organizations that he supports, he makes use of this platform to increase awareness about such organizations. Although Chris Stapleton is most known for his work in music, he is also active in the business of producing alcoholic beverages. The Virginia Black whiskey brand is a premium whiskey that he has manufactured and marketed under his own name. In 2016, Chris Stapleton worked in conjunction with Drew Estate, a well-known distiller, to create the Virginia Black style of whiskey. Their objective was to develop a product of superior quality that embodies the refined nature and personality of American whiskey. There are hints of caramel, vanilla, and oak in the flavor of Virginia Black, which is regarded as having a sweet and rich flavor. During the manufacturing process, the primary goal is to create a drinking experience that is one of a kind. This whiskey is matured for a minimum of 4 years, which contributes to the development of a taste that is both mature and smooth. Many consumers and industry professionals have expressed their satisfaction with Virginia Black's products and services. There are a lot of people who admire this product since it makes the ideal blend of contemporary with tradition, which results in a one-of-a-kind experience when drinking whiskey. It is common practice for Chris Stapleton to take part in promotional activities for Virginia Black, which can range from parties to wine fairs. In addition to promoting the product, he also tells his tale about the experiences he had during the production process, as well as his motivation and enthusiasm for the business. Chris Stapleton has organized several concerts in conjunction with the promotion of Virginia Black, bringing the experience of enjoying music with wine to fans. This not only adds value to the product, but also creates a special connection between music and wine culture. In addition to his business endeavors, Chris Stapleton places a strong emphasis on the significance of drinking in a responsible manner. In many instances, he urges customers to take pleasure in his goods in a mindful manner and to always respect the cultural norms that are associated with the usage of alcohol. Chris Stapleton has ambitions to broaden the scope of the Virginia Black brand in the future, not just to include whiskey, but also to include other goods that are associated with wine beverages. He is interested in providing customers and the community with additional experiences that are one of a kind. In addition to the activities described above, Stapleton is also a fan of participation in sports. When it comes to football, Chris Stapleton is a huge admirer, particularly of rugby. In addition to being a fan of the Tennessee Titans, he is a frequent viewer of National Football League games. Additionally, he frequently conveys this enthusiasm to his followers through interviews and events. Not only does Stapleton enjoy watching sports, but he also participates in sports himself. As a result of his passion for the game, he frequently engages in basketball games with his family and friends in his spare time. First and foremost, Stapleton is an avid fan of things that take place outside, such as fishing, camping, and hiking. Spending time with his family on trips where everyone may take part in light sporting activities together is something that he does very frequently. In addition, Chris frequently takes part in athletic events and fundraising activities, which allows him to combine his enthusiasm for sports with his commitment to charitable work. Chris frequently mixes a sporting aspect into his act at a number of the concerts and music events that he regularly hosts. In order to connect with his supporters, he can make an appearance in sportswear or organize activities that are linked to sports. And now, are you curious about his current life? The following things will probably make you a little jealous. Now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look at the mansions that are home to this iconic country musician. To begin, let's have a conversation about Nashville. The fact that Chris and his wife Morgane make Music City their home should not come as a surprise. They have been a part of the music scene in Nashville for many years, and it was there that Chris truly got his start as a songwriter before he became successful as a solo singer. Their residence in Nashville is tucked away in a peaceful neighborhood that is welcoming to families, and it is located away from the rush and bustle of the downtown area. Their family is expanding, and the house is gorgeous and roomy, providing lots of space for them to do so. Since Chris and Morgane already have 5 children and may soon be expecting their 6th child, It is easy to understand that they want as much room as they can get their hands on. Considering that Chris is a man who places a high value on his privacy, you won't find a lot of photographs of the interior of his home floating about. We do know, however, that he is a huge enthusiast of the outdoors, and his Nashville home is surrounded by lush vegetation, making it the ideal place to unwind and spend quality time with his family. The Stapletons do not only call Nashville their home, they also call other places home. Additionally, Chris has ties to the state of Kentucky, where he was born and made his home. He and Morgane own a farm in the state of Kentucky, and they use it as a place to go when they want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city and enjoy some peace. It is a working farm with cattle and other animals, and it is a location where Chris can indulge in his passion for hunting and fishing. On the farm, there are also other animals. The fact that Chris owns a farm in Kentucky is one of the ways that he allows himself to maintain a connection to his roots, something he has expressed as being very important to him. In addition, it is an excellent environment for his children to grow up in, where they may learn the importance of perseverance and the pleasures of living in the country. You can be sure that he is surrounded by love, music, and the wonderful outdoors of the great outdoors, regardless of whether he is in Nashville or Kentucky. Indeed, what else could a young man from the countryside possibly want? To tell you the truth, we neglected to mention one of his primary interests, which is automobile collecting, right at the outset of the conversation. At the outset, let's make one thing quite obvious. When it comes to automobiles, Chris Stapleton is not your normal superstar who can be seen driving around. He is recognized for having a demeanor that is grounded in reality, and this is reflected in the automobiles that he chooses to drive. In order to flaunt his wealth, he does not have the tendency to purchase a fleet of supercars or luxury vehicles. On the other hand, it appears that he favors automobiles that are not only practical and dependable, but also work well. A Chevrolet Suburban is one of the vehicles that Chris has been seen driving from time to time. Those of you who are from the South or who have a large family are aware that the Suburban is an option that has stood the test of time. The fact that it is roomy, comfy, and ideal for use on road trips or for transporting stuff is perhaps the reason why it is such a good fit for Chris's requirements. In addition, it is a classic of the United States, much like the guy who created it. Additionally, Chris has been seen driving a Ford F-150 pickup vehicle, according to the reports that have been received. Given that he was born and raised in Kentucky, this should not come as a surprise. When it comes to the country music scene, a nice old pickup truck is almost an essential component. The terrain that you throw at it is no match for its versatility and ruggedness. It can handle everything. This kind of vehicle is a good option for him to have, regardless of whether he uses it for business or amusement. You may be thinking, surely he must have something a little bit more sophisticated, right? According to reports, Chris has been seen driving a Cadillac Escalade, even though he is not renowned for displaying a collection of high-end sports vehicles. Nevertheless, even this luxurious SUV is suitable for his pragmatic personality. Long journeys between gigs are a breeze with this vehicle since it is spacious, secure, and provides a nice ride. At the end of the day, Chris Stapleton's selection of automobiles is a reflection of his modest and practical attitude. What do you think about this artist's life? Do you want such a life? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you and see you in the next video.